In this video, I will show you how I made this pop-up shadow box card. It may look a little difficult, but it's surprisingly easy to do. I wanted to show you one of the creative ways you can use up your pattern papers and ephemeras. I'll be using the Paper Rose Studio Flower Shop collection for this tutorial. Hi, this is Anna, Crafty Anna Studio. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where I post paper crafting and card making tutorials. To make this card, I chose 5 pieces of 6x6 pattern papers from the Flower Shop collection. 3 tone-on-tone papers, green, pink, and blue, and 2 floral print pattern papers. This one is for the accordion hinges, and this one is for the back of the shadow box. I also chose a few ephemera pieces from the Flower Shop collection to build my scene. This is from their collection of cut-aparts. I also have a piece of white cardstock which I will use to cut out the frames for the shadow box. First off, I will trim down the pattern papers. For these 4 papers, I will cut to the same size, while this one will be cut a little different. I will cut each of these 6x6 papers down to 5 inches by 5 inches. And for this one, which I will be using for the hinges of the shadow box, I will cut 1 inch from the top. Then on the 6-inch side, I will cut it in half at 3 inches, for 2 pieces measuring 3 by 5. Then I will take the white heavyweight cardstock and cut it down to 5 inches. For the frame of the shadow box, I will use the stitch square frame dies from Paper Rose to cut out 2 different sizes of frames, one bigger and one slightly smaller. These are nesting frames, so I can die cut them together. If you're not familiar with Paper Rose Studios, they are an Australian-based company headquartered in Melbourne. They are a wonderful crafting company. They have dies and stamps, but their specialty are these gorgeous pattern papers. I'm so lucky to be chosen as one of their design team members for this year, 2025. For the shadow box frames, I will use these 3 pattern papers. The green one is for the front of the card, the pink for the middle, and the blue one for the back. I will take the largest frame and place it on top of the green pattern paper. I will need to cut an opening just slightly bigger than the frame. So I chose this die from Hero Art's Infinity Die Set. You can also use a craft knife to cut an opening if you don't happen to have the right die. I position the die in the middle of the green pattern paper, and I'm just going to eyeball it. So I'll secure it down with washi tape, then die cut it off camera. Then I will use the green frame, position it on top of the pink pattern paper, and use it as a placement guide for the inner square die. This makes it easier to position. I'll secure it with washi tape, then die cut it again off camera. Next, I will temporarily tape the 2 frames together using washi tape. This extra step will help in aligning the 2 white frames together. I will tape it together in the opposite corners. Then I will add a thin bead of glue all around the square opening. Then position the white frame on top, making sure it's evenly placed on all sides. Next, I will add a thin bead of glue on the inner square opening. I then position the frame on top and use the outer frame as the guide to make sure it's evenly spaced. Then I'll remove the washi tape to separate them. Next, I will trim off the pink and blue frames just a smidge, like 1/16 of an inch on either side. This will make it fit better when I assemble the card. You will see here that these two pieces are about 1/8 of an inch smaller than the frame for the front of the card. Next, I will take the two 3x5 pieces of pattern paper and I will score each piece. On the 3-inch side, I will score at 1/2 inch, then at 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and then 2 inches. For the second piece, I will turn it upside down on the scoreboard, then score the same. 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5 inch, then at 2 inches. Then I will do an accordion fold. With the pattern paper facing up, first I do a valley fold, then a mountain fold, a valley fold, and then a mountain fold. Then I will fold the other piece the same way. Now it's time to assemble the card. I take the first frame, turn it to the other side, and then take one of the accordion folds and place it on one side with the print side facing out. Then the other piece on the other side of the frame with the print side facing outwards as well. Next, I will add glue to the inner tabs. You can actually use double-sided tape, but I like to use glue so that I have a little bit of wiggle room while I attach it to the edge of the frame. I will line it up to the edge of the frame, and then when it's in position, I will pinch it together to make sure it's well adhered. Then I will do the same for the other side. I will turn it over to see if everything is aligned properly. Next, I will turn it over to the back side once again, and then take the second frame and add it to the back of the first frame. I had trimmed down 1/16 of an inch on either side so it can fit better. I will hold down the frame and put glue on the inner tabs on both sides. I make sure that both frames are aligned before pressing down on the fold. I hold it down for a few seconds to make sure that it's adhered well. Next, I will take the third piece of pattern paper, lay it down at the back of the second frame, add glue to the two remaining flaps on either side, and press down to adhere them to the back. For the final step in the shadow box construction, I will add the last piece of pattern paper to the back. Now it's time to build up my scene. Before I glue anything down, I lay out all the elements inside the box that they all show up properly when you're looking into the shadow box. So first, I'm taking the biggest element, which is the flower shop. Next, I'm adding the girl holding the flowers. I'm putting her off a little to the to the right, and then I'm adding the box of flowers to the left. The scene I'm building is a lady who owns a flower shop and she's taking flowers from a crate to her flower stand. Then I'm adding a couple of butterflies at the top to balance it all out. While I glue down the elements, I wanted to ask you, do you use patterned papers a lot in your card making? I will be coming up with more card making and mini albums, journals using pattern papers. And if this is something of interest to you, I would love it if you would subscribe so that you don't miss any of my videos. I'm really enjoying the challenge of working with pattern papers, so you'll see more of that in the future. Speaking of future videos, I'll be coming up with a video where I make a mini album using the same collection. As I glue them down, I just double check to see if there's anything sticking out from the bottom or if things don't line up. So here I am gluing down the last few elements. I try to position it so that it doesn't cover the other elements that are glued down at the back. Then I'm adding the butterflies, one inside, on the upper right, and the other on the upper left. Then I'll add a sentiment at the bottom. Thank you so much, which is from the All Occasions Sentiment Strip set from Paper Rose Studios. Then I'll add a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 piece of white cardstock at the back, and this is where you can write your message. And here is the shadow box finished. To make it pop up a little bit, you can finesse the tabs a little so that it can stand. Here's the other one I made off camera. It can stand up and you can use it as a display piece as well. I made a custom envelope using an envelope punch board, and you can see that these pop-up cards can lay flat inside. As I mentioned at the beginning of my video, I will show you the paper collection that I used for this pop-up card. The Flower Shop collection from Paper Rose consists of a 6x6 paper pad, a pack of cut-aparts, a pack of embossed die cuts, a 12x12 paper pad, and a 12x12 Sweet Summer Basics. Actually, the Sweet Summer Basics is not really part of the collection. I just used this because it coordinates very well with the Flower Shop collection. The 6x6 paper pad is double-sided with 12 different designs. There's a sheet of small cut-aparts, a sheet of florals with a dark background, bouquet of flowers in a repeating design, a border of flowers, a wreath of flowers, another sheet of cut-aparts, pink florals, which is actually the backside of the first cut-apart sheet, tone-on-toned pink pattern, a sheet of repeating floral bouquets, a blue tone-on-tone, another repeating pattern of floral bouquets, green tone-on-tone paper, and then you have another set of each. All in all, you have 18 sheets of patterned paper in the 6x6 set. Next is the Paper Rose cut-aparts. 18 sheets total. These cut-apart sheets are quite thick, thicker than a normal cardstock. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sheets of different designs which you can fussy cut out and use for your projects. There are 3 sets of each, totaling 18 sheets. If you're not into fussy cutting, they have embossed die cuts, which are actually also cut apart but have already been pre-cut and joined together with tabs. You just remove them from the tabs and they're ready to use. What's nice about these die cuts is that it has some embossed design, meaning to say it's just slightly raised on certain areas. There are 6 sheets of these. I won't show this 12 by 12 paper pack as it's the same as the 6 by 6 paper pack except in a bigger format. If you're interested in any of the products that I've used in this video, I'll have them linked in the video description below. In the meantime, have a wonderful crafty day. Till next time, bye!